there weren't any conservatives in El Paso. All right, so let's do a little bit of public service. We've got our friends from the media. Let's do a little poll of this representation of a couple of thousand strong, proud Texans from El Paso. So let's see what the people of El Paso want on taxes. Do you want higher taxes or lower taxes? All right, let's try it again. Regulations. Do you want higher regulations or lower regulations? Well, I'm completely flabbergasted. No. The media told me y'all want really high taxes, really high regulations. All right, how about this? Jobs. Do you want more jobs or fewer jobs? Lower taxes, lower regulations, and more jobs. Sounds like we've got an agenda that's working. All right, let's try another issue. How about the Second Amendment? Are we for it? You mean the people of El Paso believe in the Second Amendment? How about religious liberty? Do we believe in religious liberty? All right, I got this. I know what the media has told me. How about open borders? You mean to tell me y'all are for securing the borders and keeping our families safe?
Use that wall! 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 Use that wall!
That is an agenda. Those are values that resonate across the state of Texas.
Amen.
All right, we'll try one more. I saw in the back there the flag of the nation of Israel. Are we for Israel? This is Texas. I want to thank y'all for being here. I want to thank you for standing up for our values. And I want to take a few minutes tonight to reflect on the incredible victories that we have won in the past 2 years for the men and women of Texas. In December, we passed the biggest tax cut of a generation. Cutting taxes on small businesses, on farmers, on ranchers, on job producers, cutting taxes on hard-working Texas families, and the result is the economy in Texas is booming. In the past 2 years, we've repealed regulation after regulation that was hammering the state of Texas, that was hammering oil and gas, that was hammering farmers and ranchers and agriculture. And as a result, Texas is going strong. We are today producing 33% more oil than we produced in 2016. Nationally, we have the lowest unemployment unemployment rate in 49 years. Results are even more astonishing as you drill down. If you look at African American unemployment, we have the lowest African American unemployment that has ever been recorded. You look at the Hispanic community, we have the lowest Hispanic unemployment that has ever been. You know, we got a lot of young people here tonight. I want to hear from everyone here who's 30 or younger. We have right now today the lowest youth unemployment in 52 years. Texans want you and your family. You want a good job. You want your wages going up. You want more opportunity. You want to provide for your kids. You want your kids to achieve their dreams. And all of that happens. None of this is rocket science. When you cut taxes, simplify the tax code, lessen job-killing regulations, small businesses grow, and the state of Texas does great. How about the military? Do we support the military? Let me ask every active duty military and every veteran in this gym to raise your hand so that we can thank you. Texans understand every one of the freedoms we have, every one of the freedoms we cherish for our families, we have because the men and women of the military stepped forward, answered the call, risked your life, and defended the United States of America. And we are right now in the middle of the biggest military rebuild since Ronald Reagan. You know, a number of months ago, I was out in El Paso. I went out to Fort Bliss. And they put me in a tank. Now, it wasn't like Michael Dukakis with a silly helmet sticking out top. But we went out to the tank firing course, and then they let me fire an M1 Abrams tank. We fired 16 tank rounds. Each of them are about this big, and the world shakes when one of those tanks fires its big gun. So I'll tell you, one of the last times I was in El Paso, we invaded New Mexico. And we whipped their tails. Although they did warn me when I left, they said, look, when you go to the airport, if you go to TSA, if they do that thing where they rub the thing on you, you're covered in gunpowder. So I was looking forward to having to explain to TSA, all right, there's a reason. Yeah, I was just firing a tank. If you look at our military across this country, we are in the process of rebuilding our Army, our Navy, our Air Force, our Marines. And let me say to all the sailors here, happy birthday to the United States Navy. And we're doing that because the world is a dangerous place. We're doing that because the way you keep America safe is peace through strength. incredible as the economy is, if you look at foreign policy and national defense, our successes, if anything, are greater. Right now today, ISIS has lost virtually every square inch of the territory. And I'm going to tell you something amazing. Just last spring, I was talking with one of the senior generals in our army, and we were just visiting over dinner, and I asked him, I said, all right, what do you see as the prospect, the future of our war with ISIS? And he predicted last March, he said by the end of the year, they will have lost all or virtually all of their territory. And I said to him, well, how can that be? This was just a couple of months in the new administration. I said, look, what can have changed in just a couple of months? Well, we haven't had new rules of engagement. How can we see such a sea change? I'll tell you what the general told me. He said the biggest thing that changed is the president delegated to the commanders the authority to make battlefield decisions. The White House, Susan Rice, the National Security Advisor, was literally allocating and moving troops, 20 soldiers here, 30 soldiers there. He said in the Pentagon they called her General Rice. And the result was it was so incredibly slow that they couldn't engage with anyone. Instead, what happened is that the decision-making was delegated down the command chain so that if our warfighters encountered terrorists, they could engage with them and kill them. And that's how you defeat the enemies of America, and that's how you take away their caliphate. Our friends and allies across the world we are closer to than ever before, the nation of Israel. The United States Embassy in Israel is in Jerusalem. You know, presidents of both parties had promised to move the embassy to Jerusalem. And presidents of both parties had failed to keep that promise. In the Trump administration, there was a major argument within the administration about whether to move it or not. I made the case directly to the president over and over again. It was the right thing to do, and President Trump did the right thing and moved our embassy to Jerusalem. To be in Jerusalem for the opening of the embassy on the anniversary, the 70th anniversary of the creation of the modern state of Israel. And let me tell you, there were Americans, there were Israelis in tears, Holocaust survivors who said, I never imagined I would live long enough to see this day happen. That was heard across the globe is that America stands with our friends and allies, and we will defeat the enemies of America. And the very same week that we opened our embassy in Jerusalem, the president also withdrew from the disastrous Iranian nuclear deal. Sending billions of dollars to the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism was a really dumb idea. And the world is safer now that America has made clear that the Ayatollah Khamenei will never have a nuclear weapon. Gorsuch. And we have Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Circus the last several weeks were in the Senate. And I have to say that the behavior of congressional Democrats was truly appalling. We saw the first rounds of hearings. First round of hearings, if you remember, the Democrats were actively coordinating with protesters who stood up and screamed and yelled and disrupted the hearings. The first day, 70 protesters were arrested. As each of them would stand up and disrupt the proceeding, they would yell different things. I still remember this one protester stood up and yelled, "Mother Earth!" I kind of scratched my head and said, well, she's not going to save you. You're still under arrest. But we saw that circus play out, but then the Democrats realized that they hadn't laid a glove on Judge Kavanaugh. They couldn't touch his record, they couldn't touch his service as a judge, so instead they turned to allegations that they had had for months, that they had since July, and that they did nothing with. They didn't refer them to the FBI, they didn't ask for a confidential hearing, they sat on them and sat on them and sat on them, and on the eve of confirmation, they leaked them to the press. Now that was contrary to the express wishes of Dr. Ford, who had asked to keep her name confidential, and Senate Democrats said, we don't care about your wishes, we've got a political game to play, and so we're going to leak you to the press and smear your name in the press. Now once that happened, once it became clear the political games they were going to play, I think the Senate Judiciary Committee had an obligation to have a fair proceeding. Even if they're playing games, we're going to be fair anyway. So we had a hearing. I think it was important that Dr. Ford deserved a full and fair opportunity to tell her story, and she deserved to be treated with respect. And she was. But you know, Judge Kavanaugh, he deserved a full and fair opportunity to defend himself. He deserved to be treated with respect. And he wasn't. You saw Democrat after Democrat using absurd and ridiculous allegations, uncorroborated allegations, one after the other, trying to smear Judge Kavanaugh and his family. It was political theater. It was the Iowa 2020 Democratic caucuses. As one Democrat after the other tried to upstage each other. By the way, for the record, I am not Spartacus. But at the end of the day, when you have conflicting testimony, the way a court of law resolves that, the way a fair tribunal resolves that, is you look to the corroborating evidence, and all the corroborating evidence refuted the allegations, and so the Senate did the right thing and confirmed Judge Kavanaugh as Justice Kavanaugh. And we saw the response from the angry mob. We saw the screaming, the yelling, the hatred, the banging on the Supreme Court doors, the clawing on the Supreme Court doors. But by the way, if anyone is looking for advice on where to have a nice, quiet, romantic dinner with your wife, I can share some ideas. But let me tell you, that kind of anger, that kind of hatred that we're seeing on the far left, that's not America. That's not who we are. But it does underscore the stakes of this election. We're less than a month out from election day. And we know that the hard left, they are angry, they are energized, they are filled with rage, they are filled with hatred for President Trump. And that's resulting in two things. Number one, tens of millions of dollars flooding into the state of Texas. From liberals all over the country, flooding money into the state of Texas. They want to turn Texas blue. And it also means, in November, we're going to see record-setting Democratic turnout in November. Now here's the good news. This is Texas. And there are a whole lot more conservatives than liberals in the state of Texas. Our job is to turn out freedom-loving Texans. Now, I want to take the opportunity to introduce you to a special guest. I want to introduce you to Beto. I think y'all were confused. You thought I meant your congressman. No. I want to introduce you to Beto Gonzalez. Beto. So Beto Gonzalez is the executive director of the Texas Narcotics Officers Association. Special Agent Gonzalez spent 24 years with the DEA going undercover fighting drug cartels. When I think of Beto from Texas, Texans love and support the men and women of law enforcement. Special Agent Gonzalez, let me say thank you for your courage and the courage of every law enforcement officer here. This election poses a fundamental choice. There is, without exaggeration, no election in the country with a starker divide between the candidates than this U.S. Senate race here in the state of Texas. On taxes, I helped lead the fight to pass an historic tax cut and cut taxes on the men and women across Texas. My opponent, Congressman O'Rourke, voted against the tax cut and wants to raise your taxes. Council, he voted repeatedly to raise your taxes. He also voted for something called a rain tax. I don't even know what that is. But this is Texas. When it rains, we celebrate. We don't tax it. Not only that, Congressman O'Rourke voted in favor of a $10 a barrel tax on every barrel of oil produced in the state of Texas. I gotta tell you, that is a great vote if you're raising money in San Francisco. They'll order extra Chardonnay for that vote. But that is a terrible vote if you're actually representing the men and women of Texas. Because there are millions of jobs in the state of Texas that depend on the energy sector, that depend on oil and gas and alternatives, and a thriving energy sector in the state of Texas. And by the way, that's not just if you happen to work in oil and gas. You know, everyone in the energy sector, they go out and they buy trucks and they buy cars. And they go out and they eat at restaurants and they buy homes and they go to doctors and they go to hospitals and they give to charities and they give to churches and they educate their kids and they drive our economy. And by the way, when energy is booming, it gives hundreds of millions of dollars to the University of Texas and Texas A&M and our state universities. And a $10 a barrel tax on every barrel of oil would hurt the people of Texas. How about regulations? Regulations. Congressman O'Rourke is in favor of them. More, bigger, stronger. For example, he is a big supporter of President Obama's Paris Climate Accord. I spent 45 minutes on Air Force One with President Trump making the case to him that the Paris climate deal was a disaster, that it would kill thousands of jobs in the state of Texas, and President Trump did the right thing and pulled us out of the deal. On Obamacare, I had led the fight to repeal that disastrous law. We need lower health insurance premiums. We need more choices, more competition, more options, more consumer freedom. Where is Congressman O'Rourke? Not only does he support Obamacare, he wants to expand it to full-on socialized medicine. To put the federal government in charge of your health care, in charge of your doctor. Because what could possibly go wrong with you and your family having to get the federal government's permission before you can get health care for your kids? That's not Texas. In terms of the Second Amendment, Congressman O'Rourke has tweeted out to the world how proud he is that he has an F rating from the NRA. Not a D minus, not a D, an F. And he says that's why you should vote for him. Well, you know what? I promptly retweeted it. Look, elections are about choices. If you want a big government, gun-grabbing liberal, well, you know what? The Democrats are giving you one. On Israel, Congressman O'Rourke has the most anti-Israel record of any Democratic Senate nominee in the country. Now let's talk specifics. Specifics matter. In 2014, when Hamas was raining rockets down on the nation of Israel, Congressman O'Rourke was one of eight members of the House of Representatives to vote against funding Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. voted yes. Virtually every Democrat voted yes. Nancy Pelosi voted yes. Maxine Waters voted yes. But Beto was a no. He wouldn't stand with Israel. And then on immigration. There is no race in the country with a starker divide on the issue of immigration than this U.S. Senate race here in Texas. As for me, I am incredibly honored to have received the formal endorsement of the National Border Patrol Council, the union of the men and women who build the wall. And we need to triple the Border Patrol to stop illegal immigration. And by the way, because our friends in the media sometimes get confused on this, just because we want to secure the border, that doesn't mean we're opposed to immigrants. There's a right way to do it, a legal way to do it. Seeking the American dream. In 1957, my dad came from Cuba. He came here with nothing. He came here with $100 in his underwear. By the way, for you kids, I don't advise carrying money in your underwear. He washed dishes making 50 cents an hour. He couldn't speak English, but he was filled with hopes and dreams, and he came to Texas because Texas is where your dreams can become a reality. But Beto's position on immigration, he opposes a wall. Not only that, he said we should tear down the border walls and fences we already have. He supports sanctuary cities. And he said he is, quote, open to, these are his words, open to abolishing ICE, abolishing the immigration and customs enforcement agency. Now, when he got pressed on that, he said, well, maybe we shouldn't just abolish ICE. Maybe we should abolish the entire Department of Homeland Security. Now listen, that is just radical and reckless, and that ain't Texas. And Congressman O'Rourke is the only Democratic Senate nominee in the country to come out explicitly for impeaching President Trump. And he said he would vote yes today, right now, to impeach Donald Trump. This election, I love the Texans. Have no trouble impressing our neighbors. This election is what direction Texas goes. Despite the fact that Congressman O'Rourke is running hard left, he's the #1 Democratic fundraiser in the country. Last quarter, he raised over $38 million. More than any other Senate candidate has ever raised in history in a single quarter. Because what happens is, liberals all over the country are flooding cash into this campaign. So I want to ask everyone here to do 4 things. #1, speak out. Use your voices. The media says y'all don't exist. The media says we don't have conservatives in El Paso. By the way, the media also says that there are no women here. In the media's telling, we are all old, fat white guys. But let me tell you, the people here across the state are seeing that freedom works, are seeing that low taxes work, are seeing that low regulations work, are seeing the benefits. Thank you. So use your voices. Use your voices to explain why low taxes and low regulations matter. Use your voices to explain why securing the border matters. Use your voices to explain why defending the Constitution and Bill of Rights matter. For you young people, use your voices on social media to say why freedom matters. What young person wants your life dictated by a bunch of bureaucrats in Washington? You want to be free to make decisions about your life and your future and your choices. That's what this is about. It's freedom. The second thing I would ask you to do is contribute. When you get home tonight, go online to our website, tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. And make a contribution. We're being outraised, we're being outspent 3-1.
They're desperate!
By the way, some of y'all have brought your checkbooks. By the way, for you young people, when you get home, you can Google what a checkbook is. For those of y'all who have brought your checkbooks, you can contribute here. If you're with the campaign and you can take a check, raise your hand. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll tell you, we were 5. I'll tell you, we were in East Texas a few weeks ago. I said that. 3 guys back by the bar said, I'll take a check. So make sure you actually give it to someone with the campaign. But I'll tell you this, every penny we raise will go to informing, to mobilizing, to energizing, to turning out common sense conservatives, which is going to win this race. It's going to win races up and down the ballot. It's going to win congressional races and state legislative races and local races and judicial races, and we're going to wake up with strong conservatives fighting for and representing the state of Texas. Volunteer. Every day, thousands of people across this state are knocking on doors. It is powerful when you look in the eyes of your neighbors and you say, hey, this election matters. It makes a difference to me, to my kids, to my future. If you prefer, you can download an app on your phone. You can make the calls from your living room couch and reach out to the voters. We need to turn out. And then number 4, vote. Vote and bring your friends. Bring your neighbors, and bring your co-workers, and bring everyone who wants to defend our freedom. You know, at town halls we've done all over the state, virtually every town hall, at the end of it, people come up to me and they say, I'm a Democrat. I've been a Democrat my whole life. And I'm with you now. And I'll tell you why. For generations, we have had millions of conservative Democrats in Texas. We've had millions of moderate Democrats in Texas. And there are a lot of moderate Democrats and conservative Democrats that are looking at the National Democratic Party and realizing they've gone stark raving nuts. When they see national Democrats like Beto O'Rourke talking about impeaching President Trump and abolishing ICE, for a whole lot of conservative and moderate Democrats, they're saying there's no longer a home for me in that party. And let me say to any ones of you here or any folks at home watching, if you're a conservative Democrat, if you're a moderate Democrat, if you're an independent, if you're a libertarian, and you believe in low taxes, low regulations, lots of jobs, and protecting our constitutional rights, then we welcome you with open arms. I want to give you finally a word of encouragement. We're going to win. And I'll tell you why we're going to win. We're going to win because throughout history, whenever Texans are under threat, whenever our liberty is imperiled. You know, today my father was speaking in the city of Gonzales. Now, as you know, in the city of Gonzales, General Santa Anna issued an order to the Texians in Gonzales to hand over their guns and to hand over the cannon that guarded their city.